Good morning, and a happy Monday. Hope you had a restful weekend. Welcome to today's episode of Morning Wealth. Three things that we will talk about. Last week, Dow outperformed the Nasdaq by the widest margin since 2002. The week ahead and quarterly 13F filing starts Monday. Big election and vaccine news opened last week, but investors didn't seem to have a super clear picture yet of what it all meant for markets. Another solid rise in the Dow Jones Industrial Average rounded out the best 2-week stretch for the blue chip stocks in several months. The Dow added nearly 1,200 points last week, or about 4%, capping off by a 1.4% rise on Friday. However, the tech-heavy Nasdaq composite finished the week slightly lower, down 0.6% despite a gain on Friday. The broad S&P 500 index ended higher by just about 2.2%. over the 5 days. All 11 sectors on the S&P 500 were positive on Friday, with energy and industrial stocks among the best performing sectors. Tech stocks regained some lost ground. Cisco went up 7.1% after its earnings beat Wall Street projections. Palantir Technologies jumped about 8.4% after data analysis company raised its revenue outlook late Thursday and posted better than expected sales in the first quarterly report since it went public in September. Last week, the Dow outperformed the Nasdaq by the widest margin since 2002. Among the biggest losers were companies that benefited from the stay-at-home trade. Amazon and Facebook both fell by 5% last week, while video conferencing firm Zoom Video fell about 19%. Winners included Chevron, which gained about 17% in its best week since 2008. Pharmacy chain Walgreens Boots Alliance also increased by about 14%. Smaller stocks, which were hammered by the coronavirus sell-off in March, roared back. The Russell 2000 has gained 13% this month, and it closed at a record high on Friday for the first time in more than 2 years. Despite stocks' overall gain, judging by the bond market, investors weren't committed to bet on a stronger economic recovery. If you look at the benchmark 10-year Treasury yield, it did rise about 7 basis points for the week to about 0.89, but they fell back sharply from a high watermark of about 0.98, which was set on Wednesday. In other markets, Euro Stock 600 ended the Friday roughly flat. Major Asian equity benchmarks were also lower. Japan's Nikkei 225 fell about 0.5%, while Shanghai Composite dropped 0.9%. Some Chinese stocks fell sharply after President Trump on Thursday had signed an order barring Americans from investing in companies deemed to help China's military intelligence and security services. China's 3 main telecom operators were among the hardest hit, with shares from China Mobile, China Unicom and China Telecom retreating about 5% in Hong Kong trading. The week ahead, Pfizer and BioNTech anticipate having 2 months of FDA-requested safety data this week. Smooth results would pave the way for companies to apply for authorization potentially even this month. AstraZeneca and University of Oxford also expect more trial data soon. Earnings are winding down. Walmart and Home Depot are big hitters on Tuesday, followed by Lowe's and Target midweek. Some other companies that we'll be looking out for would be Tyson Foods, Nvidia, Baidu and ThyssenKrupp. On the corporate credit side, Wall Street dealers expect about 25 to 30 billion in US investment grade issuance. There are also at least 13 leveraged loans for more than 9 billion due this week, including Inspire Brands offering to help finance its acquisition of Dunkin' Brands. US retailers, factories and home builders were probably resilient in October. Retail sales due tomorrow may show a solid but slower rate of spending, while industrial production should grind out again. Housing starts are also expected to increase. We'll also be looking out for Chinese activity numbers. Chinese activity numbers could show the economy continued its post-pandemic rebound in October, even as recoveries in trading partners trail. Industrial output growth may have slowed slightly to still healthy 6.7% on year from 6.9%. A longer than usual holiday break may have boosted retail sales growth to about 5% from 3.3%. Lastly, the quarterly ritual, that is the 13F filing, begins on Monday. Tech holdings will be one to watch, along with the investments in Asian companies given the ongoing tensions with China. Also, any delistings following Ant Group's stalled IPO is something that we will look for. The paperwork may offer a glimpse of funds' conviction on gold and the companies that mine it as well. One development from last quarter, a controversial plan to allow most hedge funds to keep their stock investments secret, has been shelved. That's the update. Stay safe and healthy. Have a lovely week ahead, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.